Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a combination histogram and box plot and also parallel box plots. We are on page 75 of our toolkit. So let's start by talking about what a combination histogram and box plot is. So what you'll notice by looking at this example here is that we have a histogram along the bottom and a box plot along the top, and they're using the same set of axes. So the x-axis for the histogram is the same number line that we use for our box plot up above. So let's look at some data and create our own. The data that we'll be using, I'm putting in order to make it a little bit easier for us, but remember we always need to put it in order least to greatest first. So it's 110, 112, 118, 120, 125, 125 again, 127, 131, 135, and again 135. For ease, the first thing we're going to do is find our 5-point summary. Remember the 5-point summary, we need to find the minimum and the maximum, as well as the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile. So for this set of data, we have 10 data points. I put 5 on the first row and 5 on the second. That means the median would be between 125 and 125, which would be 125. The quartile is the first quartile is the middle of that first half of the data, which is the 118. The third quartile is the median of the second half of the data, which is 131. Finally, our minimum is our smallest number, and our maximum is our largest number. Now that we have our 5-point summary, we can go ahead and draw our axes and get started on our histogram and box plot. Remember, the y-axis is always the frequency. The x-axis is where we need to put this data. I'm going to have us counting by tens. So this is 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. Then, going up the sides, each box represents the frequency of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's go ahead and draw in our histogram. In this first area, from 100 to 110, there is no data. Remember, this point, 110, would go in the bar that begins at 110. In the 110s, we have 110, 112, and 118. So our histogram will go up to 3. In the 120s, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 130s, again, we have 3. Looks like a nice even spread of data. Now we will draw in our box plot with a point at 110 118, which we will estimate it's a little less than 120, 125, 131, and lastly 135. Remember then to draw in the two whiskers and your box through the center. So that is what a combination histogram box plot looks like. It's a combination because you put both on the same axes. The other part of today's lesson is parallel box plots. We're not going to create our own. That was part of yesterday's lesson, but I do want you to notice right here that they have two box plots, one to represent Alejandro's data and one to represent Cesar's data, but they're on the same number line. And that's the key point of parallel box plots, is that the two box plots are on one number line. Have a great day.